Oh shit! Oh shit! All right. So Felicia Martinez 9361 asked, "Aren't there doctors who won't see patients who don't have insurance, though?" I think that that's a really interesting question, and it goes both ways, right? So funny enough, there are doctors that prefer to have a relationship that is just with the patient. And so being able to go in to a doctor's office, or, if you're having surgery or whatever that relationship is going to be, and just have it be you and the doctor is really important. They are also getting screwed by the insurance companies. So take out the people that are making everybody's lives a living hell, and everybody's a little bit happier. That being said, I do know that there are some doctors that live within the insurance system for all of their career. And so they're a little bit older, or, maybe they're not into thinking about things in a different way. That being said, community care is really good about making sure that they give you options to explore providers that will work specifically with cash pay individuals. This is from Craig Nelson 86810. This is a health share program, like a health ministries, many others. It works if you have enough people paying into the program. Some of these have been around for decades. That's true. Health shares have been around for a long time. Christian Health Share Ministries, honestly, the Amish use it too. This is slightly different in the fact that the money from what is crowdfunded doesn't touch the hands of individuals, and what you give directly goes to what somebody needs. So it doesn't go into a pot that stays within like a general health share, collection, and then gets dispersed. And the wait time between when you would get your bill approved, right, based on just the negotiation structure, is like 5 to 7 days. So, as soon as it's like all systems go, then you get that money in your account and you can pay it. Love this. This is Lucan 1274. Love this video. Love the idea of having insurance after 4 years of not. Any info on pre-existing conditions? Okay, that's really important, because I think that this gives folks that have not had the opportunity to have insurance for whatever reason something of a support system for, healthcare needs and medical situations as they arrive. The pre-existing conditions is a really good question, and we get that a lot. So if anything is previously diagnosed or documented coming into community care, those issues are not eligible for crowdfunding for the first 2 years that you were part of community care. So let's say you had a melanoma diagnosis 6 months ago and you joined community care, you wouldn't submit any of the pre-existing condition issues to the crowd for funding until you've been part of community care for 2 years, and then you could submit them for funding. That being said, if you have a pre-existing condition, but the length of time between when it was wrapped up and when you joined was 5 years. So let's say 7 years ago you had melanoma and you joined, and next month you got diagnosed with it again. That is beyond the time of what a pre-existing condition would be considered active, and then you would be able to provide that those bills to the crowd for funding. Amanda L-UX8, favorite Hiller video to date. Cool. Thanks, Amanda. I do try to do push-ups properly. I don't know what happened there. Thanks. This is Turiel Kevin 87 says, it sounds like a health-based Ponzi scheme from a fintech company. And I totally understand where that thought process comes from. And I think that it's ingrained in the fact that most of the times when we're talking about healthcare, we're used to getting screwed over. But what I'd say is we can be informed decision makers and do our due diligence and understand what we're actually getting access to, and it's an opportunity to step outside of an entirely dysfunctional health insurance system. And so just it does take a sense of bravery to think differently, but to just give into the fact that things are fucked up and we don't want to stay in them. This is an opportunity to do things different. Okay. Jeff Howard AFK says, when it becomes available for affiliate owners, I'm going to share it with my people. Community care has only been getting bigger and more legitimate. The stuff they want to do with affiliates with the blood work and the health marker checks and put them on the continuum as explained from L1. So I think I'm getting the gist of what this is saying, and it really is part of the bigger picture. So community care, honestly, is one part of the whole ecosystem of what is possible within the affiliate. And just philosophically, from a medical society standpoint, that's kind of the whole point, right? To allow the affiliate to be the center in their community that can provide a way for its members and community members that want to be in a health focused and fitness focused environment, the opportunity to not only be surrounded with people that are also of that favor, but have access to tools and resources that can be outside of the dysfunctional system and then also align with what we are, to your point, right? Based in the methodology from the level 1. So, yes. Jeff Howard, yes. Okay. JD Biaco 1. They completely copied Crowd Health, who has been doing this for 5 years. Did you watch the podcast? We are partnered with Crowd Health. They are the ones that are powering community care. And in fact, we did copy them. Very, very good. So Wookie on Ritalin said, I've used various health shares over the last 10 years. Here's my honest review. They will do everything they can to delay payment, especially for anything over a certain amount. And they say they will pay, but if it is an unshared expense, they will quickly deliver an EBO/EOS with the repriced amount that you would have to pay. MRI, hospital service, etc. Oh, this is a long one. I should have thought about that. I'm just going to attach the answer to the first part here. This is not a health share. And you bring up good points. And a lot of the reasons that I think folks have joined community care that have come from health shares is because of the time that it takes to get quote unquote reimbursement for your services. And so, like I had mentioned before, it's like a 5 to 7 day turnaround where funds will go into your bank account and then you will just pay the bills. So this is not, our money that we're crowdfunding each other isn't in a holding tank making investment interest in investments with the people that are holding the community money in the pot. So it is very different from that, and that's why a lot of people from health shares have joined. Okay, man, have I never felt the need to comment on a YouTube video, but this is just clickbait roped into an advertisement like it's not even marked as a paid promotion. I think that this is just sharing information with people that can really take advantage of the fact that they can make a difference for themselves and their family. So I wouldn't say this is clickbait. I would say that this is education. At some point when we want to go like fucked up system, it would be fun to talk about the differences in our health insurance system here versus countries, but let's just stay. Jess K. Resmian said generosity score. Why didn't she mention that part? That's a really good question. And for me, I think the reason that we may have not covered that when we were going over it is that I have an auto approve on. So like I joined community care with the intention that I was going to contribute every month. Like that there was no question on that. You do have the option not to, right? So let's say you want to know where your money is going to and who it's going to and what it's funding. You can absolutely decide on a month-to-month basis if you want to contribute. That being said, if you don't contribute to the crowd and then you ask the crowd for money, you will have a different generosity score. So it's like tit for tat, right? You can't not put in and then expect to be funded when you're not helping contribute, right? That's the entire point of community in general. And so for me, like I'm always auto fund, like I'm here to support other people, period. So let's see. I saw Athena. This is Capable Connie. I saw Athena said it's only for fit people, specific BMI, etc. Is that true? Funny enough, one of the differences between community care and crowd health is that we actually removed the BMI requirement because CrossFitters tend to have higher muscle mass and a weight that kind of skews their BMI. So a BMI indicator or level or anything that you would have to pass to enter it is not a stopping point for us. So I would argue that that's not true. Okay, at Rich Froning Senior 4387, community care is a nice idea. Hopefully it might work. I agree with the concept. Health insurance, big pharma is a racket. It's a big money issue. People taking personal responsibility for themselves these days seems to be a new concept. Ha. Well, hi, Rich Froning Sr. Yeah, I really hope it works too. I think it will. I think we are all in a spot where we're ready to say, screw the system that's taking advantage of us, and we can all help each other take responsibility. Um, this is one. All right. So at Rob Southards, question: what constitutes a health event? Do any of the following fall into this category? Mental health appointments, reoccurring dental, prior diagnosed issues like immunity deficiency, cancers, STDs, family histories, optometrist issues like being born more susceptible to retinal detachment, which requires more checkups and attention. Okay, so I love all of these questions. First of all, one thing that I really wanted to get into, and I don't know that we got a chance to unpack all of the layers to it, is the perks that you get with being in community care. So you actually get unlimited access to mental health talk therapy via a telehealth platform. So you can definitely connect with a therapist on a regular basis for mental health appointments. In that same vibe, we also have 24/7 access to unlimited virtual telehealth urgent and primary care visits. So you can connect with a provider literally by scheduling something through the app. And so you can, before you even would go to the ER or go to an urgent care, if you wanted to connect with a provider to see if what you had could be treated telehealth wise, like that's included. Additional perks also include a yearly comprehensive biomarker panel. You do have access to the prescription discount card that we talked about. You get the whole advocacy team kind of on your behalf fighting, the healthcare systems and making sure that we're getting fair market pricing for whatever those medical issues are. Lots of other benefits. So reoccurring dental, as I mentioned, starting in 2026, dental is being covered. So if you start a health event, like let's say you have an accident and you knock out your front tooth and there's multiple kind of like follow-ups to get you back to being whole, that would be the same thing as if you needed multiple appointments for any other type of health incident or health event. So reoccurring dental would be in that. Prior diagnosed issues, I kind of mentioned that and probably a couple questions prior, but it really comes down to the window of time that you are diagnosed or an issue is documented versus when you can submit it to the crowd for funding. So it's more a time window versus if you would get it crowdfunded or not. So as long as nothing is documented or diagnosed and you join community care and something comes up, a cancer, an immune deficiency or anything, honestly, you're good. It could be crowdfunded. And then optometrist issues, being born more susceptible. So I would advocate that you talk to an education specialist at community care and the crowd health team just to make sure that you're clear on getting the correct answer. I know that there's lots of nuances when we're looking at things like, what you're born with from a deficiency standpoint or anything that might be like a genetic. And so that's really, everybody has a little bit of a different individualized story with that. And so the team there is going to be the best people that are going to be able to answer that for you. So this was an interesting one from Christopher Wilder-E1K. I did try to sign up. I have an L2, have people interested in joining as well, but I was denied and then didn't pursue it any further. I was interested in this because I do know that in terms of limitations to joining, we don't want you to have a history of smoking. So that would be the only limiter that I'm aware of that would keep you from signing up. So I would encourage you, if you are interested, to let's have an additional conversation about that. Because it could be something that was just easily overlooked and it would be an easy fix at that point. So Mike D820, as someone who's owned multiple healthcare clinics and knows way too much about insurance, I love the idea of shared healthcare plans, but the only hurdle is getting most and or any providers to accept it. Not to mention the way most operate is being reimbursed and oftentimes a nickel and dime on what they will reimburse. Also, medications are normally not covered by shared cost plan, but the idea of healthy-minded people sharing a plan is awesome because you're not paying for, somebody, 500-pound slab insurance, which, isn't the way I would frame how I would somebody. But I think the point here is that there's a shift happening, and in my experience, at least for however long we've been doing this, and also working with the physician who made the choice to step out of the insurance system. The doctors are also getting screwed. So there's more and more that are stepping into a space where they want to have relationships with patients themselves, and understand what it's like to not have to rely on charge masters and contracts within a medical system that they don't have control over, when it comes to pricing and patient relationships. So I know that we're in a really interesting time in terms of the way that we as a society are approaching how we can like advocate for care for ourselves. It goes for the physicians too. Let's see. Okay, so Carly Landrum 2321. Why does she not address is the healthcare providers do not have to accept what the community determines is the covered amount, and since you are cash pay, you are responsible for the difference for the situations that are not scheduled and negotiated in advance. So this is really interesting, and I believe that the question is around what happens if there's an emergency and you're kind of on post treatment negotiations, and what happens if the decision can't be agreed upon between what the provider wants and what community care would essentially approve. The success rate on negotiations is far and wide in favor of the individual and community care after services are already administered. What's super interesting is there's a high number of people that have health insurance that are still having to pay out-of-pocket medical bills that are $3,000 or higher on average. And so what that means for the healthcare system is that they're banking on about 1% of the out-of-pocket reimbursements from individuals to come back to them to be paid. Simply because people are going into debt, right? Having to figure out how to pay medical bills, even when they have insurance. So when you have a post procedure or a post negotiation on the table, with the legal team and the community care team and then the healthcare system or the doctor, you're already giving them more than they're anticipating getting from somebody that's potentially going to stiff them and not pay. So the success rate on negotiations and the statistics on that is quite impressive. Just a little tidbit there. Okay, so John George 9423, so reading it, it says, sounds too good to be true. The math just doesn't seem to work. Also, if there isn't any screening, my fear would be it would attract a lot of people with chronic pre-existing issues that could bankrupt it. So that just goes back to the pre-existing condition question, where things that have existed in a 5-year window between whenever it was kind of like cleared up and when you join, right? You have a 2-year waiting period. So that is to protect the crowd, to not bankrupt. Taylor Megan Fitness. As a full-time coach, I just signed up. This is the best thing that has happened to CrossFit in a long time. As long as you are in good standing, you are a good community member and help others, you will get funded. They are also very honest. $500 per event, asked about pregnancy, has a different member commitment, which is $3,000. And this month, August, my total commitment was $55 for my membership and $70 for the community. My Affordable Care Act payment was $315 every month, and I got nothing. Truly, as someone who does this full time, you should look at it. Taylor Megan Fitness, thank you. I'm glad you have joined. Love the feedback. Awesome. Probably. Oh, this is a good one from M. Go Minioke. Sorry if that's not how you say your last name. For a family plan, only one member needs to be an L1. That's correct. So as long as the primary, so for right now, until it's open to everybody, the primary person that signs up for community care needs to be the one that has a CrossFit credential. But the spouse and the family members, and anybody else that can join underneath you does not have to. So Aaron Parker Live had posted, please do another video when it is open to all of us. He doesn't have his level 1 yet, so he can't sign up. I actually responded to this one when I saw it pop up with a link for a wait list. So if you are a CrossFit community member and you don't have your level 1, there is a wait list. We want to get as many people on that wait list as possible, because we know that this could be a game changer for a lot of people that are struggling to navigate through a very expensive health insurance system.